Hello. What is today? I think today's the 2nd. Before we know it, this month will be over too. This is February. Yeah, and this is the 2nd. But I do lose track of time. When you don't have to be at your job and you don't have a certain schedule going on, I have my schedule, but it's different than when I was younger. My daughter doesn't remember me working very much. She's wondering how come I'm getting Social Security. And I told her that's not how they do that. I don't know if they've changed it, but it was your 3 largest quarters. They go by that. Okay? So, if you happen to make some really good money, which I did not, I made very little. But there's other things that are worth the money. It's just that it doesn't help when it comes down to Social Security. Plus, there was a certain period of time when I didn't have my Social Security number, but I don't think I worked so much during that period of time that it would have affected anything. But I worked at a factory. I worked at Deseret Pharmaceutical for 6 years. 5 years before I had her, and I worked until I was 8 months pregnant. Didn't realize I was going to be getting a divorce, and turned down a promotion. I could have been at least getting somewhere. And then I found out later in years, those companies, they changed a lot since I left, and they were paying a lot of money to their people. It's like over $20 an hour. Maybe that's not a lot because things are different now, but that was a long time ago. I could have been making that because I was offered lead operator. Not that that's a really spectacular job. You just keep everybody going if they're having troubles with their heads or whatever. And it's hard to tell you what a head is, but it's 2 pieces of things that go together. And then you put a piece of tubing in there, which has got square ridges, and it rounds it so that it can go onto a syringe, a needle, go onto a needle and be snug up against the needle. So when it goes into your arm, it just goes right into your vein. Well, that's what I dealt with. that very tip that goes into your vein. And if there's ragged things on it, that's not good, right? So there's quality control going on, and you just, I really don't know. They made that offer to me the day I was leaving. And I'm going, no, I'm going to go home and be a mama. That's what I wanted to be. I went home and, within a week or so, I found out I was getting a divorce. It wasn't funny at all. It was really traumatic. Anyway, there's a stress. So many years ago, they say that cancer can be in you 20 years before it ever shows up. And then other people say, I'm saying what I've heard. We all have cancer cells in us, okay? And they get dealt with until they get out of hand. I might not have said that quite right, but that's kind of what it's like. You've got these cells that are reproducing, and then someone gets out of hand, and then they're reproducing at a more than normal rate, I think is what it would be. So there's more cells than is needed or something like that. I'm just making thoughts, okay? Things to think about. I really don't know. So, I was gonna... I just gotta read. So, I get messages in the middle of what I'm doing. Sometimes I have to read them. So, I'm bending over too much. I need to sit up straight. Do you guys sit up straight? Posture? I decided I'd start wearing a bra. I didn't like how I looked in that video. My breast reconstruction is small, and it's not proper. It's not finished. The problem is that my cancer was on the side of my breast, and so between the side of my breast and under my arm, and so in reconstructing and stuff, plus they took the whole breast out too. So just made it kind of hard. He told me to give in until February, and we'll see what happens then, But I'm going, after seeing that video with me in the blue shirt, I looked pretty bad. And that big old thing was my belly. And then the little thing above it is my reconstruction. And then the other one is hanging low. So, from now on, I've got some sports bras, and they work. And I do need to be pulling that in. I just haven't worn a bra, especially, right after you have surgery and stuff. You don't want nothing there. I don't know how to explain it, but they cut on me pretty good, Nevertheless, we'll see what this year brings. But no, I could do better on my belly. I've definitely, like I said, blossomed. Sorry about my nose. I don't know if it's ever going to get quite right, but at least it's not as bad as it was. The suffer that I am. Coughing up stuff. So what do they call that? An expectorant? I need a lot of things. I was just looking at my arm. Just take care of yourself, okay, people? And I'm gonna try, but I don't know if you can reverse it. I need to do a lot of moisturizing, but I also need to do that from the inside out. Like, I really should make sure I do my smoothie today. I can go lesser on the ingredients, and in fact, this time I bought cucumbers. I figured it would cut some cucumber and put in there. That's a superfood, and I can't eat it. I can't get, unless I was to put those teeth in my mouth, and even then, like I said, I've been taking the teeth out so I can eat. Excuse me. So, I thought I had a desk, but I heard those guys talking, and the people who had put the desk out on the road, it was already gone when it was promised. But see, I know how people are, especially they're putting it out there because they want it gone. And if you don't have a truck or something to haul it, I don't know if they could have hauled it in their car. Oh, actually, Jessica's got a thing. All she's got to do is put the seat down, and she can put it in the back. I think her car's a Jeep, but it's pretty big. I don't know what year it is. It's white, and it's nice. My grandson was saying, "Why don't you just borrow the keys?" And I'm going, "No, I don't want to be responsible for someone else's vehicle getting, anything wrong with it. Nothing like borrowing the vehicle and go crashing somewhere." Depth perception, is that the right word? Being able to tell how far things are away. Like when you go to step down off of a curb, how far is it down there? And then, it's just that what you got here is you got a bifocal, okay? So you got a different lens. So you look out over the top and you can see at a distance pretty good. So these aren't I need new glasses. Okay, I need to go have my eyes tested again. Nevertheless, point is, I have these bifocals in here. So I have two different sights going on, and it plays tricks on your brain. Oh, I gotta put out my pills, so I gotta figure them things out. I need to make a list of what to talk to that doctor about, because I've got my prescriptions of gabapentin waiting for me in Washington, where my sister lives. And I talked to my cancer doctor about the hot flashes, and so she took me off, and she took me off gradual of the gabapentin, and she's putting me on something else. But I've been afraid to try it because it's so expensive. I don't know why they're doing that to me. It's supposed to work. It's supposed to target it. I think the gabapentin, maybe it's a side effect of the gabapentin, where it affects your hot flashes. I got something in my eyeball. It's going to be my finger in just 1 second. I don't know how that happened. Here, you're going to have to go here. All of a sudden, something's in my eye. Oh. So, is it today? Is Groundhog Day today? I was just going to say, I heard it was going to be Groundhog Day, and then when I saw that, it said for tomorrow. So that must be today. So I wonder what he had to say. We're going to go back and have a whole bunch more winter, or we're going to have a nice spring. No. Okay, I'm not feeling it, so it should be okay. Okay. I'll be like the little puppy syndrome, have a wet nose. They're healthy if they have a wet nose. There are definitely a lot of stories in there, in my head. All different kinds. Brave little souls, just go out and do anything. No one's told you you can't do it. I was talking about that the other day. I don't remember why. It's just that when you're older and you know better, you've already been through it and stuff, then you are more, you wouldn't think so. You're more aware that something could be happening. But yet here I am, getting scammed. It's just amazing to me. Yeah, that should be on my list. I'm going to be talking to Chase. And I think I will no longer be doing business with Zelle. I mean, it's easy to send Zelle, but it's also easy to get scammed on Zelle. Maybe I'll, like they say, don't shoot the messenger, but they wouldn't do anything because I authorized it. Didn't matter that I got scammed or I didn't get the service, what was promised for my money. No, that didn't matter. And now I just remembered that it's written on my my Zelle account, these two people that need to give me a refund. It's saying that I can no longer send or receive money from them. So that's stopping them from sending me my money? Is that the deal? What's the trip? What the trip is I'm going to be turning in whatever you call that, a review. I'm not sure if I know how to do it, because they're scammers. Maybe what it is someone else is on the feed, or somehow when you go to do your thing, they take over. But what it is the person who set it up, he handed me off to his supervisor, which I can understand that. He's out there doing selling and all that stuff, and they're getting loads put together. But no, they didn't do that. So it's really sad, because I'll never get my money back. Okay. I was listening to videos and trying to do some hashtags, maybe, if I can stay on task. So I wrote down video that was done on 1/27/25. So I've got to go back and do some hashtags. Like, I've got ivermectin, I've got horse and wormer and cancer. Then I've got heartburn and baking soda. And actually what I think is if you make a sentence out of that, you might have more, I don't know what I'm trying to say, because they're doing this search by what you put under the hashtags, okay? So if you do a sentence that says, baking soda gets rid of heartburn. Baking soda also, and this is the biggie, baking soda alkalizes your system, gives you a balanced pH where you don't got cancer. I might have said all that kind of a little bit weird, but what I'm trying to say is if you put enough of it together in a sentence, like baking soda, see I'm twisting it now, baking soda gets rid of I always talk backwards. They say dyslexia, they do. I don't know a lot about it, but my sister has it. And they do talk, or they see things backwards or something. The words, the letters. But see, there's different forms of dyslexia. And I talk in backward sentences. Now, going by correct English, they're still correct, because I know how to put sentences together. But I have had many sentences where I went back and said, oh, I like it better the other way, and take the tail end of the sentence and put it on the front. And then it wasn't that it made more sense, but it wasn't, it was more fluid that way, okay? Instead of being chopped in half. I don't know how to explain that. But I do love English, and I do love the spoken word and the written word, if it's something that I'm interested in, okay? And yes, by my own writing, I know a little bit about maybe those authors out there. I don't know. Everybody's different. So, I should go over there and put out my pills. And I should hashtag that video. So that's what I'm going to start doing is listening to my videos and putting some hashtags together as to what is in there. We'll see if it does anything. If it has to be done right in the beginning, then I'm too late. But I have a feeling when I edit it, it should be okay, right? I'm going to go in and go to that video, and I'm going to edit it and add these hashtags. No, I don't know if it'll do any good, but maybe it will. I hope it will. I appreciate you people. I do. Whoever takes the time to listen to me rattle on. Because sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes good things come out from the rattling on. But nevertheless, that's what I'm going to do. So, and I probably just read all that to you. And then I don't want to do that. And I have discovered, especially now, at this moment in time, I don't want to do anything complicated. Okay? Like, I love the book. I can tell that I will love it all. I don't like that their language is a little over my head, through my head. I mean, you would have to go listen to me do that or go read it yourself to know what I mean. Go to the books, and then there's Jesus the Christ or something. Okay, Jesus Christ is the one you poke on. And then, okay, I need to show you. I don't know if you can see it. Jesus the Christ. So it's not the Christ. It says Jesus Christ. Okay, we're going to poke on Jesus Christ. Now we're going to come over here. Can you see it? Jesus the Christ by Talmage. And poke on there. It was already so crazy, so I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to understand it good enough. On to Jerusalem. Apostolic. I'm not saying it right. Okay, but it is, let's see what it is. Matthias ordained to the apostleship. After witnessing the Lord's ascension from Olivet, the 11 apostles returned to Jerusalem, filled with joy and thoroughly sufficed with the split of adoring worship, both in the temple and in a certain upper room, which was their usual place of meeting. They continued in prayer and supplication, often in association with disciples, including Mary, the mother of the Lord, some of her sons, and a little sisterhood of faithful women who had ministered to Jesus in Galilee and had followed him thence to Jerusalem and to Calvary. The disciples, most of whom had been dispersed. Stop that. Okay, I want to be able to move it. There. Where's that? Okay. The disciples, most of whom had been dispersed by the tragic events of that last and faithful Passover, had gathered again. Let's see, had gathered again. I lost my place, I'm sorry. My neck is hurting me. I think I must have skipped something. You know, how can you do that, right? But I can. Let me see. I'm not starting over. We're at 24 minutes. All right, so Okay, Mary, the mother of the Lord, some of her sons, and a little sisterhood of faithful women who had ministered to Jesus in Galilee and had followed him thence to Jerusalem and to Calvary. The disciples, most of whom had been dispersed by the tragic events of the last and faithful Passover, had gathered again with renewed and fortified faith about the great fact of the Lord's resurrection. Christ had become I'm going to be lost here. Matthias ordained apostleship. Okay, well, listen, I got to go downstairs. So, interruptions, but that's okay, right? Just makes more for another day. I'm going to leave this out here in front of me, and I'll start with Matthias ordained to apostleship. All right, take care. Bye.